content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to modern audiences. Your discretion is
Lock the doors and turn out the lights, boys and girls. It's that time of the week again for WPOV Global. I'm your host, the legend TJ Logan, and with me, the man with the most, and by most I mean alcohol in his system. I'm talking about the gentleman, Elio Canella. Elio!
Yes, sir.
My near-pickled co-host, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
You know what I love about you the most, Elio? Is you're not a mean drunk.
I'm not.
Which is good. For a man perpetually drunk, it's good not to be a mean drunk. How was your week, Elio?
My week's been great.
My week, you know what? Folks, and I'm sure Elio is going to attest to this. This week, we watched wrestling, but we're preparing for an onslaught, a virtual onslaught of wrestling in the coming weeks.
Yes.
At one time, you know, if you notice, we stopped watching ROH because we just felt that it just, you know...
It was repetitive.
Kind of dying out and not a lot going on. And we totally dropped Impact because it was absolute crap. And for a while...
Still is.
For a while, we were smiling because that meant it took 3 hours of somewhat wasted time off our plate.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant all we had to do was watch, you know, the who knows how much New Japan, anywhere from, 4 to 12 hours a week plus.
But it's fun.
But at least that one's fun. You know, we had 1 hour of NXT UK. We had an hour of MLW. And you know what? It seemed like that was pretty good. You know, we felt good when we got that. You know, maybe the occasional pay-per-view. But now we're going to be covering AEW, folks. That's right. Our next episode, today, as you're hearing this, if you tune in next week at the same time that this comes out, well, we're not going to be there because we're recording that night. We are moving our recording nights one night over, so we can watch the AEW show and talk about it fresh right after. Me and Elio will be on the mic, talking about it, taking it apart, seeing if it's worth the hype. And that added right there, boom, 2 more hours of wrestling. And you know what?
Oh, God.
Not only that, but now, and God help us here, we talked about Anthem buying Access TV. Next, in a week from Tuesday, I believe, well, I guess, who knows what day you see this, but coming up in the next week or two, they're moving Impact over to Tuesday nights, and it'll be carried on a bigger network, and which means we might have to take a look at it if it starts doing well.
I'm sorry, did you say Tuesday nights?
I said that Impact is now going to be shown on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, and the question, here's the thing is, we might have to start looking at it because if they actually start to make changes for their new network, they do have a chance. There are some good wrestlers on Impact. I mean, there's absolute shit wrestlers too, like Callahan, OV, Tommy Dreamer, Rob. I can't believe he's still not dead yet either. Van Dam. I mean, these guys they've got the oldest, crappiest wrestlers around. I mean, Rhino. Come on, man. When has Rhino been relevant and how long?
I can't believe he's still around.
And you know what? So we got that. Makes you wonder. Rumor has it that Anthem has also been trying to buy ROH Wrestling.
Oh,
oh my goodness.
Oh, what is going on?
I guess the dream thing there is, and this might work, what if they did buy him and then just mix the two rosters together? Think of how strong of a show that would be. I mean, Impact has some good stuff. Throwing in some other great ROH wrestlers, the potential there is pretty good.
If they did a crossover, if they did that and there was a huge crossover there with both rosters, I'd tune in just to see some fresh matches. Yeah,
it would be also kind of cool if they did some kind of invasion angle where they wouldn't even tell you who wins. Maybe they just all get absorbed together. It's going to be...
Yes.
It's something we're going to keep our eye on, folks. And we also have the fact that MLW is getting bigger and bigger every week. I mean, they're coming up with their first actual pay-per-view. So go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I think it'll be just like any other pay-per-view. We'll be able to see it. It won't be a YouTube thing. This will be an actual, on November 2nd, will be their very first, and they're planning to do more down the road, pay-per-view.
Looking forward to that.
And they've signed already the main event. Do you know what it is?
What is it?
Los Angeles Park will be cashing in his golden ticket and taking a shot at Fatu.
Oh, okay.
Now, how's that for an interesting match? Promotion. Whoa, I can never say it properly.
Promociones Dorado. Oh, that's right. On tonight's episode, Selena was talking about something, which we'll bring up when we get to that part.
Well, I'm sure glad you're not being vague about it. So you know what, folks? We have the potential for a lot of wrestling coming up. More so than we've seen. And hopefully, good direct competition, maybe that will force some of these people to up the game even more.
Okay.
And the winners here is us, okay? The wrestling fans, the wrestling community, the wrestlers themselves. More wrestling, more shows means more business, which means more of everything. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, we're going to change our show. We're going to have a bit of a format change. We definitely will be still covering New Japan when their shows come on. We'll be doing the weekly look at NXT UK and MLW, but we'll also be adding a very large section for AEW, which we're going to be taking apart for a while to see how this goes. I mean, if this becomes a runaway hit, we'll be covering it quite for a while, but if it crashes and dies, it might be a blip in the thing. But we're going to give AEW a chance. And I've talked to the guys over at WPOV Wrestling. Now, they will be covering NXT.
Yep.
We'll be covering AEW, and they're going head-to-head. And what we and Elio are going to do is we are making this commitment now. We're going to watch the AEW show fresh off the thing. We're going to get on the recording devices. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to be brutally honest about the show and what we see. And we're going to rate it, a brutal, honest rating.
Okay.
Then the guys over at Wrestling POV are going to do the same for NXT. And we're going to do this on faith, because the fact here, fans, is we have nothing to gain here by saying one show's better than the other. We're going to take the fact that Tony and Mimi and Rick are very competent and very astute at watching wrestling, and they're going to give it their best rendition of what they see, and we're going to give our best rendition of what we see. And together we're going to collaborate and kind of see which is the better show. We're going to talk about it. Nobody's the winner here except the companies themselves. This isn't a competition between Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global. This is a collaboration, because we're all curious too. We want this to work out, but we also know it might not.
Yep.
Now, before we get into our poll, I believe, Elio, you have the news this week. You have a bunch of news for us to talk about.
Have a bunch of news, and it is all to do with our new promotion, AEW, which makes their debut on October 2nd, and they won't only be airing on Wednesday, but they're also getting a replay on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.
That's a good way to bring in kids, for sure.
And they also have 3 networks. They're going to be airing on TNT, TBS, and True TV.
They really are going to be, that's for sure, or is that what they're just threatening?
That's just,
rumor?
That's, I'm not exactly sure about that one, but there are also plans to, have a studio show, much like Talking Smack. So they're making a lot of big plans, and they haven't even had their debut show yet.
Well, they're setting themselves up for some great failure or some great success.
I mean, you haven't had your debut show yet. You don't know what the fans are going to think of your product. And you're already making all these plans. Oh, we're going to go 3 hours. We're going to have a studio show, just that's going to be like a talk show. So I don't know. I really have no idea what to say about these guys.
Well, you know what? We're going to get on to our hot topic after the poll, and our hot topic actually this week is going to be a bit about what you're talking about and some of these kind of feelings and stuff, okay? But let's take a look at this week's poll, all right? Now
the poll.
Now, this week's in our poll, what we wanted to talk about was we've been following and tracking MLW, which has become one of our favorite shows because it's just darn fun. And it seems like it's really growing and really becoming a presence. And we were curious if people thought, excuse me, that's what I get for trying to drink pop while I talk. Not alcohol, Elio, pop, okay? Now,
are you sure there's nothing in that?
Nothing but
pop?
Dietary. No, there's nothing in there. All right. This week's question was, can MLW, if given a national platform, become one of the top 3 promotion? Okay? Now, surprisingly, everyone is a little tight-lipped this week. People had replies, but there were no comments. But, Elio, first of all, do you think if they were given a national platform that MLW could run with the big boys?
Okay, I've had a week to think about this. I'm going to say yes because MLW... Okay, let's take Forrest Gump sitting on that park bench with that box of chocolate. That's MLW. You never know what you're going to get with this company. One week it might be good. Another week it might be not good. But either way, I think it's a fun, interesting watch. And it's an easy watch because it's like an hour. And sometimes quantity is better than quality. I mean, quality is better than quantity.
We're not talking about your alcohol diets here.
Sometimes quantity is not the best. I mean, look at WWE with their long shows, their 3-hour shows. MLW is 1 hour, and I'll take like the 1 hour.
Well, let's face
3
one
hours.
thing here, though, Elio. If they became on a national platform, they'd of course probably go to 2 hours. Could you handle 2 hours of MLW a week?
I'm sure I could. I'm sure it'd be a lot better than some weeks that I've been watching Raw and SmackDown.
You know what? I'm going to answer this with I'm going to answer with a yes. Okay. If given the chance, it could. And I want to explain something that maybe never really occurred to people right here. But, people who say they're looking for the alternative to the WWE, and AEW is saying that's what they're going to be. They're going to be more adult. They're going to be hard-hitting. They're going to be more, all these kind of things. And it's sort of funny because that's already what MLW is.
Wait, did you say more adult? Impact Wrestling was trying to be more edgy, and they're not
but their edgy was cartoonish and buffoonery at its worst. I mean, seriously. But I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
MLW kind of already gives us the alternative to AEW or to WWE. I mean, they have this incredible mix of luchador wrestlers that seemed to have acclimatized themselves better in the North American wrestling audience. They bring in big names. They bring in new, fresh talent. I think that I almost wonder if AEW just linked up with MLW to begin with. They could have knocked it out of the park and probably been the super real, guaranteed thing.
We could have seen some real interesting matches then.
So I'm going to say yes. Now, surprisingly, 56% of you said they didn't see it happening. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And that just proves that 56% of you are morons. But no, I'm just now. I'm just going to take this as the fact is maybe not enough people are watching MLW right now. It's one of the things, people who ask me about wrestling, what do I watch? I always encourage them to watch MLW before any other show because it's a short hour of fun. It's fun. But yeah, you know what? Interesting comment. Now, we're going to have a poll next week. And next week, the poll for next week is actually going to come out of what we're going to talk about now in our hot topic, okay? The hot topic this week's deals with Kenny Omega. Now, I know you all know where I'm going with this. Kenny Omega did an interview where somebody asked him about the NXT crew and going up against them, and he pretty much dismissed them as jobbers and curtain pullers and said that none of them could run with him, that that they were all just lower card dudes. And, now it's sort of funny. A lot of this really took a life of its own instead of just being a comment, as you might think, from one wrestler talking smack about others. This thing went everywhere. And lots of people took umbrage to it. A lot of people were not happy. A lot of people, they were pretty upset at Kenny Omega. And then there are other people who said, he's a heel and he's playing the heel thing. And the thing is, this just didn't die quickly. This went really big. And I want to ask you, Elio, when you read those comments, did it offend you? As a wrestling fan, as an NXT fan, did you think that what he said was fair, or was it out of line?
No, I don't think the NXT guys are jobbers at all. I think there's like a lot of talent in NXT, and I find NXT to be enjoyable. Like I've watched quite a few episodes of NXT, and I really enjoyed the product and the in-ring work.
Now, another question that I have stemming out of this is, do you know nobody's?
Yeah.
But what do you think? How do you feel?
So that's where it's hard to say. It's hard to say whether he was in character or whether it was It was real. Either way, I'm gonna say it wasn't the smartest thing to say because, like, with the way fans are today, hearing him say something like that about NXT guys would just like turn them off of AEW.
Mm-hmm. That's another question we're going to get into now, folks. I got to tell you, when I read the Kenny Omega things. Now I know Kenny Omega. I've met him many times. I've interviewed him.
Yep.
I kind of had a good feeling for who the guy is backstage. You know, I've dealt with him before. I seriously, when I read this, I laughed because I didn't think it would be taken so seriously. I didn't think it would take a life of its own. I didn't think people would get all butthurt off it. Kenny Omega is playing.
But this is the internet wrestling community we're talking about. They get buttered over everything.
That is true. I thought he was just playing the heel. You know, drumming up some, obviously NXT's the competition, obviously throwing out a few jabs out to the other side. I took it as more of a laugh, but you know what? A lot of people didn't. Now, first of all, in my opinion, I think that Kenny went in there as the heel character, Kenny Omega. I don't think he really, half the guys on NXT, he wrestled with these guys, Adam Cole was in Bullet Club, for God's sakes, with him at the same time.
He was in the WWE for a cup of tea himself.
Well, in developmental.
Yeah, developmental.
And he actually quit and asked for his release. He never was fired or let go.
I went with tea instead of coffee.
Yeah, we had tea with 1 sugar cube, not 2. But here's the thing. Man, internet wrestling the fans in wrestling today are almost ridiculous. When I was younger, I used to think this stuff was awesome. This stuff is hearing something like this would be like, yeah, it makes me want to see. It makes me want to see Kenny go in there and actually fight, and it makes me want to look at AEW more. But it seems like today's fans, they're not having any of that, buddy, man. A lot of people are now saying they're not going to give AEW even a chance. That he pretty much blew it for them, and wow, for me that just is it's kind of sad.
And when my brothers and I were growing up, my brothers weren't the biggest fans, but they said they found it more exciting listening to the guys talk about what they were gonna do when they get in the ring than the actual matches. It's like hearing the promos were more exciting to them than the actual matches.
So now we talked about this, and you see it a certain way. The way you see it, does Kenny Omega's attitude, this kind of thing, does it turn you off from wanting to look at the AEW product if you were just a casual fan, you yourself?
If I was a casual fan, you know what, like his comments, so to me it would be whenever, like, it wouldn't turn me off. I'd still check out AEW to see what the product would be like and how they operate things. So I'd say no, it wouldn't turn me away. I'd still check it out.
Okay, fair enough. Now, you know what? Like we said, the internet has been a buzz about this for the last week. And I don't know, did you catch the latest Being Elite where Kenny addressed the issue?
No, I didn't.
It was pretty humorous. It was pretty Kenny Omega. I mean, he came out, he said, I apologize, I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, blah, 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 blah. Then they said cut, and then they said, okay, he's like, it's done. And they're like, yeah, and he goes, oh, good, maybe those internet idiots will finally, maybe that'll keep them from being so wah, he went on to say, don't these idiots realize that I'm like the top wrestler, blah, 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 blah.
That's just it. Fans, they don't care about that. This is the IWC. They complain about everything.
Well, it was sort of funny, too, because he took a shot at Donovan Dijak. He's like, yeah, there was this guy, Donovan, something with the last name.
Dijakovic.
He goes, oh, Donovan Dickhead is sitting at home, typing on his computer, thinking, oh, I'm finally going to get on NXT now because I stood up for the team and Triple H is going to have to put me on TV now. And it was pretty funny. But here's the thing, too. As I'm watching it and I'm getting the humor out of it, I'm wondering how many other people are not getting the humor out of it and how many people are, like, thinking this just cements in how much of a jerk he is. Like,
See now, to me, I'm not part of that IWC. Like, if I were to watch it, I'd just watch it and be like, have a laugh because it'd be funny, like the way he addresses it.
Yeah, because, I mean, here's the thing. He's obviously, the show is produced by him and his friends, So it's not like somebody left the camera on and he didn't know and he let out the truth behind and was exposed. This was poking fun at that. This was obviously poking fun, and once again, lots of people didn't take it very well at all.
Yeah, and that's why I'd say, like, I don't think it was like this. It might not have been the smartest thing to do with these guys, because they get all upset, and now that's it. They're not gonna watch the AEW. Like, okay, I'm still gonna watch it, so it doesn't matter. Like, what other fans, if they don't want to watch it, change the channel.
Fair enough. Well, you know what? What I want to know, fans, is this. Okay, this is what our poll is going to be for the next week. Because I'm just curious. I'm only curious right now about you fans, the fans that listen to WPOV and WPOV Global, who listen to us and listen to our opinions and want to express yours. I want to know from you fans, did the things that Kenny Omega say, in the end, did it make you want to watch AEW more, or did it turn you off from the product? Because I've been hearing this from all different communities. I'm curious of what you, the fans, think. So please write us in. You can find Elio. They can find us on Facebook. That's where our poll is at
Wrestling POV Podcast.
All right. And
this is the way you want. This is the way you want to pull. Did Kenny Omega's comments make you want to watch AEW more, or turn off the product?
Or turn you off from the product.
Turn you off of the product. Okay.
Okay, so fans, I want to know what the POV fans think. What WPOV fans, what do you think? Did you find it humorous? Did you think this was sickening? I've heard the whole spectrum from fans in all different groups talking about this. I'm curious of what you fans think, all right? Now, let's get off our hot topic for the week and take a look at New Japan Wrestling. Now, New Japan, we finally got to the end of destruction. Okay?
Oh, there's no more destruction. Now it's time to repair everything.
And finally, finally, we're going to talk very quickly about 3 little matches, and then we're going to give our highlight and high point and low point. The things that stand out that need to be discussed. First of all, there was an incident involving Suzuki-gun were coming out with Minoru Suzuki, Zack Sabre Jr., Dookie, and Kananarbo were coming out. And as Suzuki's coming out, now he's been kind of taking shots at and going after Jushin Liger. He unmasked him last week. As he's coming out, Liger comes out and jumps him from behind and starts beating the living snot out of Suzuki.
And that's why I didn't know if the match even started.
It didn't. Like, the match never actually.
Okay.
The match never actually. They never got to the ring. They never rang the bell officially. It was no contest. So all of Jushin Thunder Liger's men come running out. His tag team,
right?
Including who was in there: Tanahashi, Tiger Mask, and. For the life of maybe it's Tonohari. But anyways, they all come out and they're all fighting and meanwhile, he's going to town on Suzuki. Suzuki turns around, all of Suzuki's guys get in, they beat down Liger, and they go to take a chair and hit Liger. He hits Liger. Liger gets up, cracks Suzuki with the chair, and then rips his mask off. And underneath his mask, his face is painted like the Joker, man. It looks scary as crap. He goes insane crazy, grabs like this spike from ringside, tries to ram it through Suzuki's head. Suzuki ducks it, goes through a table.
I've never seen Suzuki run the way I saw him run that night. Like,
I have never seen Suzuki scared. He definitely knew he was going to get his ass kicked. He runs off into the crowd. All chaos is out. And you know what? We talked about this. It's obviously headed to a Suzuki versus Liger. Now, the fan...
Okay, it was Tanahashi, Liger, Tiger Mask, and Rocky Romero.
Rocky Romero. Sorry, Rocky. I shouldn't have said Tanahashi. Now, here's the interesting part. We've been watching New Japan. I've only been watching Japan for 3 years now. So I didn't know the long history of this. But apparently, only the last time this has happened, anything like this, Liger did this character in an enraged thing when the Great Muta in the 90s ripped his mask off.
Yeah, apparently,
and he went insane.
Four times, I believe I heard. I might be mistaken, but I thought I heard 4 times that he's done this.
But it's crazy to see, and I'm excited. And Suzuki was scared.
He was. I was like, I've never seen him run like that. Dude.
Now, the second match I want to talk about really quickly that happened on the card was Shingo taking on Hiroyuki Goto. And talk about, this was an awesome, hard-hitting match. So much so, Goto got the win, so much so that I'm nominating it into our matches of the year.
Okay.
And how do you think? You saw it too. Did you think this is
this was a pretty good match. This was a hard-hitting. I had always heard of strong style because of Shinsuke Nakamura. I've never actually seen strong style, so this was a pretty good match, especially when they were nailing each other with the clotheslines, and neither one would go down.
It was brutal, fans, but it was exciting and it was fun. Now, the last part of the last thing, of course, we have to address is Tetsuya Naito losing the IWGP Intercontinental title to Jay White.
We called it.
Yeah, we called it. We knew it was going to happen. Jay White playing the mind games like crazy, uses Gato so much. Sorry, man, all over the place here. Used Gato so much to actually interfere constantly in this match. But Jay White does, in fact, win the belt. Now, looking over this, did you have a high point and a low point on the NJPW shows? Just the show. Okay,
for me, there wasn't really any low points per se. The high point for me was the Jushin Liger segment. That was just, like I said, I never seen Suzuki run the way he did. That guy was scared for his life.
I think the low point for me, we called it, but Jay White winning the belt was. Well, it was disappointing to say the least,
Yeah, but Tetsuya Naito, we already said Tetsuya Naito doesn't care about championships.
He doesn't, but then he'd been bragging the last little while that he was going to go for it, try and be a double champion. So, yeah. Now Jay White is...
That's confusing. Someone who doesn't care about championships, but he wants to be a double champion. I'm not sure how that works.
Now Jay White is saying he's going to be the double champion. So, we'll see how that goes. Now, the high point... I'm going to have to say it was also just watching Liger take that spike and try and hit Suzuki. That was crazy. That was really... You don't see guys ambushing people before matches.
I had only seen that video. I had only seen that video on Facebook, I believe. So that they posted somewhere on Facebook. Mm-hmm. But to actually see it on the event itself, wow.
It was crazy. So, you know what, fans? We're reaching the end of our first part here. We're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a bit about NXT UK. We're going to talk about MLW. And we also have a special interview. That's right, folks. I got a chance. It's going to be 12 minutes long, about 12 and a half minutes long. I got a chance to sit down with Ikuro Kwan, the fourth member of the Contra Unit. This is the first interview he's given anybody since joining Contra, and you know what? The guy was cool. I really, you're just gonna have to tune in and see. All right, folks. We'll see you back in a few minutes.
Hello, this is Miguel Cole from the Wrestling POV podcast. Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global is affiliated with the Collar and Elbow brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com and save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Collar and Elbow has t-shirts, hoodies, sunglasses, and more. And the best part, you're helping out your local indie wrestlers. And you're helping out the best wrestling podcast of all, Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global. You don't want to miss out. So save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Oh my goodness!
What's up? This is Jeff Cobb. You're listening to WPOV Global.
Hey fans, we're back. Elio?
Yes, sir.
Did you get enough drink in you for this next little segment?
I did. I'm all set.
Because I know you love to... I know you not only love to watch wrestling, but you like to listen too. So, folks, I have now it's about 12 and a half minute interview that I got to do with somebody. Now, this is exciting for me, and this is an exclusive for WPOV. We have the first interview with the fourth member of the Contra Unit, Ikuro Kwan.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if you saw, we saw the War Games. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, the War Chamber.
Yep.
Now, I didn't know what to think of Ikuro Kwan because I only saw him interfere once before. This was his first real look-see at this match. Got to tell you, was really impressed by the way this guy moved, his looks, everything different about this cat. Then we got a chance to talk to him, and for joining a scumbag group like Contra, he's actually not that bad of a guy. It was one of those times, Elio, where I went in blind.
Right.
Don't really know this guy, trying to fish out some questions. At the end of our 12 minutes, in my head, I was like, dude, I could sit and talk another hour with this guy about wrestling and philosophy. And that I appreciate. So fans, we're going to go now to our interview with our good friend. Well, I couldn't say good friend because Contra, Anyways, the fourth member of Contra, Ikuro Kwan.
Hey fans, welcome to a special edition here on Global. I got a chance to talk to the fourth member of Contra Unit. I can't believe it. This guy, very different, very mysterious. Maybe not so mysterious after we finish this, but this guy is something else. First of all, I want to introduce Ikuro Kwan, who we also know at other independent places as CCW, where he's known as Tristan Tai. Tristan, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, bro. It's good to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Well, you know what? Before we get everything started, I got to say, I looked at that War Chamber, and I was very much impressed. You had something that caught my eye. I mean, you're in there with the Von Erichs, you're in there with all these different personalities, yet you also stood out too. So I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing. I got to know, first of all, how long you've been doing this, where you've been trained, and how did you get started?
I'm from New York, man. I trained out in Long Island for FTW under Kona Capuccia. That's my man, dude. He taught me everything. He showed me a lot about respect. He showed me a lot about the ins and outs of the business in terms of how to carry yourself with bookers, with other wrestlers, with your belongings, with your merchandise. He taught me a lot of things that I would have to find out on my own, and I was blessed enough to have him really take the time to get to know me, form a friendship, and now, he's my Yoda. If I have a question, I go to him. I've been doing this a little over 2 years now, so things have been moving crazy fast, and I'm keeping up. So I think.
You know what? It's been really exciting to see a new person come up like this. Like I said, this interview, we saw this, and I was like, who is this guy? And I mentioned it to Rick Serrano III. He said, you know what? I met this guy. I know this guy. And he said, would you like to interview him? And I said, man, I'd love to interview him. So he got us in touch. And where did you meet Rick, by the way? That's one question I didn't think to ask.
Just throughout the New York scene, man. He's friends with some of my boys. I wrestled for one of the promotions that he works at, where he works at in New York, and just because there's not a lot of, there's just a new crop of talent, in New York, so we kind of just stick together and talk to each other, and we're seen around with each other a lot. So one thing just led to another. Also, Leo, I'm the only one that looks like me on every card, so it's not hard to forget who I am. You know what I'm saying? So,
I guess. Now, your style, very interesting, very explosive and precise. How did you develop that style? Is that something you were taught? Is that something you developed yourself? Whereabouts did you get that?
So I trained in a lot of disciplines. I'm a second-degree black belt in Shaolin Kempo Karate. I did some jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, I did amateur wrestling, but I'm a street dude. Is really what it came down to. As far as my style in that ring, any issue, any fight, any problem, and that I ever had, getting in trouble, whatever the case was, that's my mentality in that ring. And so, my aggression comes from that, but my skill set, my technique comes from my discipline. So I always say, the Tristan Tai character is me, where, I can 360, I can 360 kick your face if I wanted to, but at the same time, I could also just spit and smack you in the face too, because that's my attitude towards it. So, mixing the two is something that, is very personal to me, because that's exactly how I fight there is probably how I fight the street.
Wow. It's a frightening style. You really stood out in that match. You just came in there and it was just like a dart. You were just in there attacking. And I got to say, I was wondering how the new guy coming into these established stars would carry himself, but I got to admit, I was very surprised. Very, very good stuff. Now, you've been wrestling in a few places. I didn't ask you before, what other promotions have you worked for? I know CZW was one that came up.
Yeah, so I wrestled for CZW. I'm in a tag team with my boy. It's going really well there. I'm also, I've been blessed to wrestle for Drew Cordero and Beyond Wrestling. And that's where I learned so much there through that process. Working with guys like that, that's been happening to me, because I have so much respect for these people, because being in it, and only for, you know, a little over 2 years, like, I feel it, and I see what this type of business demands from you. So when I see people in here for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, like even the same amount of time as me, there's a respect there, because there's only, you know, passion runs out. No, not, you know, passion never runs out. I'm sorry, passion never runs out. You know, you could want something. You know, you could want people to, you know, come, you know, be a little famous on the weekend, you know, but eventually that runs out, and all you got left is passion to push you through these hard times of pain and the travel and no sleep. And, you know, I'm going to school too, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if you didn't have passion, you wouldn't be able to get to where you're at. So at the level that I've been able to be at the platforms, the rosters, the locker rooms I'm able to be a part of, everybody in there has the same exact common passion. You know what I mean? And because of that, no matter what you like outside of wrestling, the fact that we all have that in common bonds these locker rooms and bonds these things to where you see, you know, someone can see me being a young kid and they will come out and they'll talk to me. They'll ask me a question. They'll give me a comment. They'll review my match with me, because they can tell that passion. You can't BS passion. You just can't, you know, because the real recognizes real, like, at the end of the day. And, you know, I'm blessed to be with, you know, with the Teddy Harts, the Low-Keys, you know, the Von Erichs, you know what I mean, you know, Joe Samael, Fatu, you know, Court Bauer himself, like, these people who have been to the dance, the people who understand, like, what it takes to make it there and what it takes to stay there. And all I want to do is feed off their energy and learn from their wisdom, man.
Well, that's a very great attitude to have. Now, you know, here's a question that I like to ask people when they first start too, especially younger guys. What did your family think when you told them this is what you wanted to do for a living? Were they very supportive? Were they very skeptical? What were they?
Well, I mean, like, here's how I look at it. Like, so society in general is just an agreement that humans have to where this is how everyday life should be. We are surrounded. We wake up next to normal. We go to work. It's normal. We go to bed. It's, we are surrounded by normal 24/7, 365. And there's only a select few who see that from the outside and say, I don't want to be in this normal world. I want to do something abnormal. And I've always been like that. And they knew that. They knew I wasn't made to sit at a desk. They know I'm not made to work 9 to 5. I'm made to be an entertainer. I'm made to be a professional wrestler. And that's just how I always believed. The first time I ever saw it, I said, that's it. That's what I want to do. And of course, the reasons change over the years. First, you know, you want the fame, you want the girls, you want the money, you know what I'm saying? But then it becomes, when you're in it, you realize that it's so that you want to. It's like a lifelong achievement. You know, you're never done learning about wrestling. You're never done honing your craft. You're never done building your respect and your name. And that's what I love about it. When there's a lifelong process to it, it's not like how society is, where you're born, you go to school, you go to work, you get married, you have kids, you die. That's what you're expected to do. And I refuse to go down that road. You know, I'm here for a reason. And I believe that my purpose is in my hands, and my purpose to me is to be me, and that is to be in this profession.
Wow, you know, you can always tell the guys who really have a respect and a dedication to the craft when they have like realistic goals and realistic settings and have a love for this sport. Obviously, talking to you really do have a love for this. Who are your favorite wrestlers? Like, who are the guys that your idols, or who are the guys you really look up to?
I mean, I'm 24, so the first person I ever saw, it was 2003, and I saw John Cena just tearing dudes apart on the mic, and then going out and just beating them up in the ring, you know, and like that's how, you know, that caught my eye, you know, and I started watching that. But then, you know, then I saw Eddie Guerrero for the first time, and then, you know, like Randy Orton, you know, Triple H, because I was a WWE guy. Like, I never knew independence. I never knew anything else like that, because I was just a WWE fan. Like, WWE to me, like, that's the NBA. You know what I mean? I'm not watching a league in Turkey. I'm not watching a league in Spain. I'm watching the NBA. They're the best. I'm watching the NFL. I'm not watching, you know what I mean? You know, if I don't like, you know, I watch baseball, but I'm not watching, you know, some minor league thing. I'm watching the MLB. I'm watching the top. So I never knew about the independence until I was a part of the independence. And then I realized that the best wrestlers in the world weren't just in WWE. They were scattered across the world. And then you see all these different styles. Then I see, the Low-Keys. You know what I mean? Then you see like the Kyle O'Reillys and the Roderick Strongs. You know, the El Genericos. You know, a lot of innovators that influence me a lot now. And it kills me that I wasn't deeper into the culture of wrestling when I decided I wanted to be one. But
okay, now One of the things I want you to be able to do here is throw out all your social media stuff so fans can jump on the train, get the exposure you, or even if they wanted to book you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, they can. You can hit me up on Instagram. Tristan _Ty TRISTEN_THAI. I'm on Twitter. I hate Twitter, but I'm on Twitter. Ikuro Kwan. And you can, if you want to book me, you can DM me. You can hit me up an email. TristanTyBookings@gmail.com.
And you are taking bookings, right?
You know, I'm here, man. Like,
are you taking bookings from exotic places?
Yeah, man, I'd like to.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? Like I said, like I'm so new to all this. You know what I mean? So like the bookings, everything's happening so fast. I'm trying to get a grasp on all of it. You know what I mean? I'm not sweating it, but they find me, they hear about me, and there's a lot of people who haven't even heard about me yet. And that's respectable. That's why the MLW crowd is so fresh. Because if I go to New York, people know me. If I go to if I go to like Philly, they know me, but they don't know me. In Mexico when we're gonna go there on October 5th. You know what I mean? We're gonna be, with Chicago, they didn't know me. We go down to Orlando, they're not gonna know me, but they're not gonna forget me either.
Well, fans, I got to say, when you get to see this guy, you're gonna want to see him some more. Now, I know that currently MLW is carried, for people who don't have beIN Sports, you can also watch it on YouTube. Every Monday they release episodes, I think around 5 or 6 Eastern time, and they have MLW Fusion. How about CZW? I don't really know. I've never really been able to find it very much up in Canada. How do people get a hold of that?
CZWstudios.com is where you would find the shows. As far as I know, I think occasionally they might post certain things on YouTube, but as far as I know, it's CZWstudios.com.
Excellent. Well, you know what? We're really excited. This is you definitely have something there. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Ikuro Kwan or Tristan Ty or whatever you're wrestling at this week is going to do, because you're on the radar now, and I think a lot of fans are very interested in you. And I just got to say, good job in the War Chamber. That was a big exposure for you, and we look forward to seeing you probably anywhere else we get a chance to.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's time to go back to work. You know what I mean?
Sounds good.
It never stops, man. If you don't put the work, man, someone else right behind you is. So you got to stay one step ahead of everybody all the time.
Wow. Whew. That was a fun time, Elio. Now, I know what an interesting fella. And you know what? He hasn't been wrestling all that long. Mm-hmm. And he still wrestles in CZW as Tristan Ty. And one thing I asked him about him, I said, you know what? The holy grail, the one thing that me and Elio are chasing down is we want to interview with Mance Warner.
Oh, yeah.
And he says to me, Mance is a super cool dude. Super cool backstage.
I would love that.
I would so love that. So, Mance, if you somehow find out about this or somebody knows Mance, tell him, I want to interview Mance Warner. I tried to add him on Facebook. Well, we live in Canada, so it's not like we can, friendly stalk him. So we're stuck up here. So all we're going to say is, anyone who knows that can hook us up with Mance. Mance, we got a lot of questions for the psycho Southern redneck. And the man who has probably the most incredible finishing maneuver. Knee pad goes up, knee pad goes down. Love it! I'm looking forward to also seeing a lot more from Ikuro Kwan. You know what? Let's take a look at our shows this week. We got no, we're not going to do MLW first. We're going to start off, actually, with NXT UK.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Now, the show itself, oh, man, it was okay.
Yeah, it was just okay for me.
I'm going to say it was okay. It was in the middle with a slight thumbs down because the main event sucked monkey.
Oh, my God. That was painful. You know what? I never heard of a British rounds match before, and then after last week, I was like, I don't think I want to see that match again. That was just terrible. I mean,
I've never heard of it, and I wish I hadn't heard of it.
What a ridiculous concept. 6 3-minute rounds, 30-second breaks between each round.
In the chef world, right, there's a concept called KISS. Have you ever heard of KISS? KISS.
Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah.
This is wrestling. You got ropes, you got a stage, you got a referee. Do we really need to be sending in a bunch of crap like this?
I think that match was designed purely to fill that bit of extra time they had.
I think that match was designed to piss me off, really, because seriously, this was horrible, fans. Sitting there, 3-minute breaks, 30 seconds between.
I would have taken any other match, or you know what? I wouldn't have minded even seeing the Hunt out there or Gallows.
Well, when you said matches, I started thinking of like specialty matches. I would rather have seen Buff Bagwell's mom on a freaking pole match than this garbage again.
What's going on?
Oh man, this was painful. Anyways, you know what? What was your highlight of the night? Highlight for you?
Highlight is anytime I see Rhea Ripley on my screen. Her matches are entertaining.
Yeah, you know what? My highlight is definitely got to be. Okay, I know what you talked about. You enjoyed the girl she fought. You said looked an awful lot like Paige.
She did. If you go back and watch her like mannerisms when she walks out to the ring, and when she steps into the ring, she does the exact thing that Paige used to do.
She looks like Paige's older, not so pretty sister. Yeah, but okay, I can see that.
Yep.
For me, the highlight did involve Rhea Ripley, but it wasn't the match. Okay, for me, the highlight was her confrontation with the idiotic duo of Ginny and Jazzy Gabert, who I like to call Jizzy, the two of them together.
I'm so done with Jazzy Gabert. Has she been wrestled any on the...
No, she hasn't.
Okay,
No.
see right there. And you know what? I don't even want to see her. Like, I'm just so done with it.
I don't know, man. I remember Jazzy back when the day when she was an alpha female, back in the, and she was a fierce... now, you know what? She looks like a fat boy with like, oh man, she's just put on gross weight. She doesn't really do anything. She has that ridiculous Superman cape that she comes up with.
Yeah.
This horrible haircut. And she just looks like, you know what? It's not even that she looks fat, Elio. She just looks like out of shape.
Yeah.
I don't think she's wrestled because she probably just doesn't have the cardio to get in there. She just looks terrible.
I still say Ginny is better in the managerial capacity.
Yes, I could go the rest of our lives without seeing Ginny wrestle again. She's just terrible, too. Together, Team Jizzy sucks. And I know, fill in your gross jokes there, but still, yuck. The lowlight, and I think we both agree on this, because we've already bitched about it.
Yes.
The main event,
Jeez.
the whole concept of this British rounds garbage is just stupid.
And then Sid Scala is crying at the end. He's whining like, he had beat him. Like, no, you didn't. He was trying to get him his shoulder down in the bat, and the bell rang.
Yeah, and the best is you would have tied him. You would have tied him had you got it. Not even a win. Okay, you know what? This is how stupid this concept is. Imagine you're a fan of boxing, okay? Boxing's a pretty simple sport. Two guys get in the ring, you put up your gloves and you fight, right? So then why don't we say, hey, okay, this is the way it works. Every 3 minutes, we'll stop and do sit-ups, and then we'll take a 1-minute break, and we'll each run around the lap. Yeah, because we got to make it convoluted and stupid. We're going to add in all this other nonsense. Why not? Well, that'll be in round 7. We'll do push-ups. In round 8, we'll do jumping jacks. This is just so convoluted, dumb. Wrestling's wrestling. If you want more falls, you do an Iron Man match to see how many falls you get in an X amount of time, or you do a best 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 7, 5 out of 9. I'm running out of numbers here. You get the point, folks. This British round stuff is just garbage. And part of me, I'm sure it's real. But there's this part of me did they make this crap up for this interview? For this segment?
Well,
because they're talking about other guys doing it. But
because they had Nigel and William Regal talking about, they've been in British rounds matches. They were talking about it like it was an actual thing, which I don't even know if it really is or if they just made up rules as they went along.
You know what? Normally, I would say we should get on the internet and investigate. But you know what? I don't give a shit. This is terrible stuff. I don't care if it's real or not. I don't want to know any more about it.
I think I might have... I don't know. I haven't heard this guy just say it. I've only heard it once, but I might have a book entry with first it was Nigel, then we had the other guy, Vic Joseph. He used that word.
He did too. That popped in my head too. Vic Joseph? Say it, Elio. Say it, Vic Joseph.
You just made the book.
Oh... Why? Why is Nigel McGuinness's evil still spreading? I hate that guy.
Jeez.
I hate him. All right. Let's take a look at MLW. Well, first of all, we basically gave it a rating of like thumbs in the middle. I gave it thumbs in the middle to kind of slightly down.
I'm going with thumbs in the middle to leaning towards thumbs down because it was not a very good show.
No, I mean, we could have looked at other things within the show, but I mean, stuff like, Travis Banks. I don't know if I like him or not. Some days I think he's okay. Some days I can't stand him. He was okay this week.
In 2 weeks, how does Tegan Knox already get a NXT UK Women's Championship match? That's gonna have to take place in 2 weeks.
No clue. And right there, I mean, I've said it myself. I'm not sold with Tegan Knox. I mean, she fought a nobody in a super quick squash match, and now she's in that.
I was looking forward to her debut, and then they give us that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if she went through a couple months of squashing people. Mm-hmm. Okay, but to go in there and then squash somebody and then get a title shot,
terrible, makes
no sense. No sense. You know what? Let's go into MLW Fusion this week.
MLW.
Now there was only 2 matches. What was it? First of all, what was your highlight of the night? No, let's do low light. Let's go low light first. What was your low light?
Jordan Oliver and Olive Justice on my screen every week in the opening match.
Yeah, they for me. I can't stand these guys. Like, they're just like little miniature men running around trying
Colo Brazil is so out of place in that group. I don't understand where he fits in. You know.
They lost Rich Swann. So
I know. I get that. I just I don't understand where he fits in. Like, because everything, like Jordan Oliver, Myron Reed, and Colo Brazil, and there was no explanation to how he became a heel.
Yeah, well, they did kind of give an explanation.
Oh, okay. All right.
They said that because he felt that the officials turned a blind eye when Ricky, what was that guy's name? Martinez?
Yeah, but did he actually say that in a backstage?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I must have missed one.
Well, no, actually he didn't say it. The announcers brought it up.
Oh, see?
How he felt. The announcer said he felt that the officials and MLW did not look out for him and allowed that to happen. Him to almost get permanently blinded outside of a nightclub.
But I never heard him say it, so I want to hear him say it.
Yeah, he didn't say it himself, but the announcer said that, and that's why he joined this group. They're terrible. I get it. You know, I've seen lots of smaller guys who are tremendous wrestlers. In the end, if you watch Jordan Oliver, he's actually not a bad wrestler. Either of Myron Reed, they're pretty good, talented guys, but they play such obnoxious douche. You can't stand them.
I don't get the whole tape over their mouth thing.
Well, do I have to explain this too? The tape over the mouth is because they say that they are being forced silent by the MLW officials. That's why they keep beating up referees. And it's their way of saying that MLW is trying to shut them up.
Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah, okay. I didn't say it was going to make any sense here. Now, okay, what was your highlight?
My highlight, Mance Warner.
Oh my gosh, he is hilarious. Mance was so funny this week. Yes, great highlight. He talked about just getting up. Did you notice when they panned away and he was walking, he really was barefoot? He talked about how had Jimmy Havoc sent him to jail, and now he just got out and he was walking around barefoot with no clothes, with barely any money or anything.
Is it just me, or was Jimmy Havoc saying something about how he's going to go after Mance Warner's blood or something? I don't know, some crap.
Yes. He was going to drink his soul or some
that is
nonsense.
What's wrong with you?
It's Jimmy Havoc. He's disgusting. That's why he's in our book. Next week, I don't know how brutal this is going to get, because as much as I hate death matches and as much as I love Mance Warner, I made the mistake of looking up some of Mance Warner's CCW work and other promotions, and it's hardcore horrible.
Oh, wow.
We're talking the full thumbtacks, glass, barbed wire, staple gun, the full gun. So I'm not sure what we're going to see next week. I have a feeling we're going to see one incredibly bloody match.
Oh boy, should be interesting. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, MLW is that box of chocolate that Forrest Gump was holding. You never know what you're going to get.
Now, my highlight of the night. And it was sort of funny because when I said it involved something, you guessed right off the bat. You know me well, Elliot.
I know you well.
Yes. The highlight of the night for me was during the main event when Teddy Hart was sort of pushed into the rope. The referee wasn't looking, and Aria, whatever her name is, decided to rake Teddy across the eyes with her fingers. Teddy proceeds to grab her fingers, throws them in her mouth, and starts biting her fingers as hard as he can while she's screaming her head off. And I popped so hard for that, buddy. I laughed so damn hard. I was just like, man, that is such Teddy Hart. He does the douchiest crap, and yet you still love and find the guy hilarious. Anyone else biting a girl, that's not cool, but for some reason, that made me laugh so hard. Great. This week's episode, I gotta say, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up, okay? Despite as much as I hate Injustice, okay? Zenshi is cool, and I like watching this guy wrestle. Matt Warner gave a tremendous interview.
Oh, yeah, since Selena De La Renta was talking about the LA Park going after Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, which is interesting. Boy, that's one thing about MLW. The heels go after the heels, the good guys go after the good guys sometimes.
No one cares in that company. They'll go after anyone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at the Von Erichs. They were talking about they kind of wish their dream match would be against the Hart Foundation.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that one.
Well, I think the Von Erichs need a little more time to gel before they take on the Hart Foundation. The Hart Foundation have been teaming for a long time. And the Von Erichs are okay, but they're not a great team. They're a good team, you know. I got to say, you know, the main event was pretty good, but the ending kind of sucked. I mean, it all boiled down to Austin Aries jumping Teddy Hart in the middle of the match and giving him like a brain buster on the side of the outside of the ring, and it took out Teddy and took out their chances for the belt. Really starting to even hate MJF, and now I'm hating that Holiday guy more. Man, they're a douche.
Oh, you know what? That lifestyle from Richard Dennis was ridiculous. Richard Holiday, it's 6 a.m. I'm in the gym.
Yeah, and what is he really doing? He's tanning.
With those stupid blue goggles. Maybe they should go in the book.
You want those goggles. You know you do.
No, I want Fantasmo's glasses.
Hey, and a quick side, wasn't it weird seeing Gringo Loco dressed normally when he ran in to save Zenshi?
Yeah, wow. That was...
It was kind of odd to see him dressed like a normal guy.
Ring gear.
Well, one thing I laughed about the most, though, is he comes in and he gets up Zenshi, who got maybe 1 or 2 hits, right? Mm-hmm. But the poor referee has been murdered in the corner. Nobody even goes and checks on him. Referees get no love. Yeah, they get no love, those fuckers.
I wonder if should they be crying injustice? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, maybe the referees need to start wearing... Anyhow. So, yeah, so let's take a look at giving out our rating numbers for this week, okay?
All right.
For the win, for 2 points, and by the sounds of it, both of us, I'm going to have to say MLW gets the 2 points this week.
Yes, sir.
That's going to award 1 point to NXT UK, 0 points to ROH, and they haven't even started, but they got to start somewhere. We're going to give 0 points to AEW this week.
So NXT UK is second, our MLW is first.
Okay, so read out our standings as of this week.
Okay, so
including the new points.
As of this week, we have NXT UK with 1 point.
No, read it from the top, though. Read it from the top. Who's the number one winner right now?
Right now, the number one winner is MLW with
how many points?
We just gave them 2 points, so they are at 15.
15. Who's in second place?
In second place, it is NXT UK with 11.
11. And third place, ROH
still has 5.
5. And how many does AEW have?
0.
Sorry, that was just being me, all trickster and stuff. Well, you know what, folks? I'm in a really good mood, so I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I'm going to try and be very calm, and we're going to go open the book, and I'm going to try not to lose my crap, and I'm going to calmly this week, without getting mad, I'm going to do my best not to lose my temper and explain why these people are in the book. So, Elio, please open the Book of Shame and read us what kind of losers are dwelling in there.
All right, so let's take a look at the Book of Shame. Our first entry is Ace Austin with times 1.
Times 1. Now, Ace Austin, here's the form of a guy who he does have some talent. He does have some interesting moves. He has he could be something, but he also has let's say a trunkload of crap. Okay,
he's also involved in some stupid storyline on Impact with Eddie Edwards, his wife.
Yeah, I love how he promises he's going to screw Eddie Edwards' wife. That's classy.
Okay.
The guy comes in, he does a stupid card trick. Oh, his name is Ace, so he has to throw a playing card Ace in the crowd. And then he has this magician stick like a 12-year-old would use. It's just cheesy crap that looks so indie, so low bucket barrel. It's sad. I feel very sad for you, Ace Austin. And that's why you're a loser, and that's why you're in the book. I'm not even getting mad. Next.
Next, we have the Dark Order.
The Dark Order. Oh, my goodness. You ever see like a guy who just does not look like he's any kind of serious competitor? That's Evil Uno. This group is terrible. They used to be the Super Smash Brothers. I guess they had some success. I've never seen them fight. I've seen some results of them. I'm surprised they were never sued by Nintendo.
Yeah.
But Dark Order, it's just schlock. This is this is AEW trying to elevate a lower level team. It's not going to work. It's garbage.
And our next one is Jimmy Havoc, who wants to drink Vance Warner's soul or whatever the hell he's going on about.
Now, Jimmy Havoc is a great example of people who just aren't talented enough to be wrestlers. So instead, they have to do stupid things where they take glass and tacks and all this hardcore garbage. They have to bleed for money. And in this day and age full of hepatitis and full of all sorts of crap going on, if this is the kind of life you choose to lead, you're a loser and you deserve to be in this book. If you can't do anything more than hardcore wrestling, then don't wrestle. You're not a wrestler. You're just some idiot who gets paid to get hit. That's why you're in the book.
And next we have Kenny King, which we're not coming out age anymore, so I don't know.
Well, let's face it. Even if we are or aren't, Kenny King's probably always going to be in there. I mean, the guy is boring as crap. I mean, I think I'd rather watch the commercials for ROH than actually watch a Kenny King match. He has no charisma.
Mm-hmm.
He has nothing interesting about him. How does he even get paid? Who pays him?
Wait, I just thought of something. If he ever left ROH and ended up in AEW, we'd still be seeing him. So yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Our next one is Madman Fulton.
Madman Fulton. A guy that the WWE saw no potential in and let him go. So Impact picks him up because he's really big. Because he's from Ohio and knows the rest of the losers from OVE, they take him in. I've seen this guy now honestly fight at least 6 or 7 matches, and he's terrible, man. He does not have any talent. He's green as the boogers hiding in your nose. He's terrible.
But what's going on? What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm trying not to lose my temper, but Madman Fulton is just not good. He's not as bad as El Gigante, but he might as well be.
Then we have Casey Lennox.
Casey Lennox. Sometimes you meet people in this world who are like super attractive, and then they open their mouth and there's nothing there. That's Casey, man. I mean, she's on MLW sometimes because obviously she's pretty. She appeals to.
But don't you think don't you think you're going a little too far?
I'm going too far. How do you figure?
Isn't that what Casey would have said? Isn't that what she said on an episode of MLW?
Oh, you're quoting her. My goodness. Elio, you are quoting an idiot. Are you sure you want to be doing this? Dude, she has no talent, and obviously, I don't know. Maybe she fools around with the producer, and that's how she got the job. I have obviously, she did
no, she's just terrible. Oh my goodness! When I heard her interview,
she makes you embarrassed that you're watching wrestling. So that's why she's in the book.
Then we have the Chris brothers.
I went over OVE already. They're just talentless.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
Trailer park losers.
You know what?
They're
I don't know, but the Hunt, I gotta say, from like the last few times I've seen them,
I gotta say the Hunts. I think we're gonna have to take them out of the book, buddy.
Yeah, I'm starting to change my view on that.
Yeah.
So
am I.
I think we should take them out of the book.
They're out of the book. I agree.
All right, the Hunt, you are out. And the final entry is the WPOV crew.
I have been continuing this feud with the WPOV crew for a while. I did maybe exaggerate a tiny bit about the extent of which they were stalking me, as per se. But you know what?
Yeah, if you listen to their show, they weren't stalking you. If they would stalk anyone, they would be stalking me, they said. So...
Well, isn't that what a stalker would say? Like, seriously. I mean, that makes them look even guiltier. But I am going to be the bigger man here, the better man, the real man, and I'm going to let them off the hook. We're going to take them out of the book.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to turn a blind eye.
The real man? Okay.
And next time...
You're the real man, I'm the gentleman. All right.
You're the gentleman, I'll be the real man this week. The next time Tony sends me a picture and I'm looking at a shriveled stick and I'm wondering, what is that? I'm not going to look. I'm not going to open up any more pictures that Tony sends me. I will be the better man here.
All right, so the WPOV crew is out of the book.
This week they're out of the book.
And that is our book of shame for the week.
That is the book of shame. You know, we did add some. Didn't we add somebody in earlier in the show?
We did. Yeah, we did. We entered one new entry. We entered Vic Joseph.
Vic Joseph. I almost want to. You know what? No, there is one more entry we should throw in there too.
Oh, what's that?
We are going to throw British round style wrestling.
Oh my, yes. The stupidest concept I have ever heard of.
Okay, are you ready? So, British round style wrestling.
You just made the book.
That's right, jerk-offs. I guess they're not really people. That concept sucks. All right, you know what, folks? We've had a really fun time here. We've been talking some wrestling, talking some nonsense. You want some more wrestling and nonsense? Check out the guys at WPOV Wrestling. They do their shows on Saturdays.
Yep.
We'll be moving our show after this episode. You'll be able to catch us on Thursdays. But okay, are we ready for this?
Just like the new fall lineup. We're moving to a new night.
We're moving to a new night. Now, you know what? If you want to check us out and check out the guys at WPOV Wrestling, you can download us at Stitcher.
Yep.
iTunes.
Yes.
No, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. Yeah. So check them out, man. They're fun guys too. You know, we talk a lot of crap talk between us all, but we're all big fans of wrestling. We all support each other. Check them out. Have a good laugh. Listen to them. Learn to hate the puppet. That's all I can say. Learn to hate the puppet.
He's not that bad. Come on. He's entertaining.
Just because you're my puppet, Elio, doesn't mean you should stick up for other puppets.
TJ Logan.
Okay, fair enough. Folks, we want to thank you for tuning in this week. We know that this show goes all across the world. We love to hear from you fans. You know, we got you guys coming in from all across North America, Europe, Asia. We got you down in New Zealand and Australia. I do believe we still have a nice contingency from Russia. I want to say hi to all my Russian friends. And you know what, folks? We love you. Write into us. You can write in on Facebook at WPOV Wrestling. We want to hear from you. Anyways, have yourselves a great night. Elio, say goodnight to the fine people.
Hold on. It's Wrestling POV Podcast on Facebook, Wrestling POV1 on Instagram, Wrestling POV on Twitter.
Woo! Man, we have a Twitter? Huh. Who would have known? All right. Anyways, folks, you have yourselves a great night. Elio, now say goodbye to the good people.
All right, listeners, we will talk to you all next week.